talking about console prices, but specifically the PlayStation 5 and the Nintendo Switch 2, because technically, as I record this, it's exactly 1 month before the release of the Nintendo Switch 2, and a lot of people already think the system is overpriced. I'm definitely in that camp.
That's what it is, bro. What did you people expect, man? You know, you paid for the PlayStation 5 Pro that happened to be more powerful than the Slim, and now you out here telling people that it's going to cost a little bit more? Well, let me guess who advocated for this. Hold on. Well, there you go.
$150 for what essentially is a pretty fancy tablet. I mean,
did he just call the Nintendo Switch to a fancy tablet? Then what is the PlayStation Portal, for an example? This is crazy, man.
I've liked every generation.
At least it got exclusives.
Different and innovative. The Wii U, the 3DS,
the Wii U
screens on a system. It feels like a lot of times what you're paying for when it comes to Nintendo hardware is the creativity as much as the creative games in the systems. And currently, it is weird to kind of consider that right now we have seen price increases on a lot of different hardware. The controllers were already made more expensive by the tariffs, and obviously, recently, Xbox increased the price.
Yeah, but this is a video about PlayStation 5. How about you get to the whole fact that the PS5 might potentially cost $1,000? And I told you guys that this would happen, man. All they doing is price gouging, you know, a lot of their products to justify as to why you people will spend $1,000 in the next generation of gaming. This is what I was trying to tell you. GameStop with another... W.
Series X up to $600. The 2 terabyte edition of the Xbox Series X is now $720. But right now, people are sort of in the spot where they're going, okay, should I buy these systems now? Should I rush out and try to, I don't know, save up?
Yeah, because you know why? This is what they're doing. You know, the whole poor little Timmy waiting 5 years to get the consoles and the games at a discount. You don't think they weren't aware of you people? The same people that say, oh, I'll just pick up one 2 to 3 years later. That's why they doing it. I find it so funny that you guys have a problem with something, but yet you can't even explain to your audience as to why it's happening in the first place. And before people say, yeah, GameStop, you know what? That's actually kind of a good point. So what they're essentially telling you that they want to initially force you to buy the cheaper version at launch because it's only going to get more expensive as time goes on. We're not living in a console generation where things are going to become cheaper. Those days is over. Companies have realized that a lot of you gamers have been hustling the system, me included, and this is what they're doing to compensate for that. How come none of you content creators are bringing this up? That's right, because I forgot you guys are ponies.
I don't know, buy a PlayStation 5 on a credit card. I definitely would not advise that. But there are some people that are kind of afraid, okay, should I buy stuff now while it's cheap? Oh, God, I hate putting that in quotes.
That's exactly what's happening. Now, mind you, I'm not advocating for this. I'm not advocating for these practices. All I'm saying is that this is what these companies are doing. The days of waiting for things to drop in price so you can get it at a later date, companies are starting to peep that. They're starting to realize that's why they had a problem with the used gaming market. That's the reason why physical media is no longer going to exist. Because think about it. If you beat a game, you could share it with how many people you wanted. That could have been the way companies see it, that could have been potential customers that could have went out there and purchased the game. That's why with Nintendo, when you buy a game through a digital license, you can only share it amongst one person, which also means that you can't share it between two people like you've done before. That's why they're starting to crack down on these things. And what's even more funny, people are going to look at, oh, I'm going to buy GTA 6 and they won't do it. I'm going to play the game with my wife and my kids. And they might even have something in store for that. I'm telling you, man, y'all don't want to see it, man, but this is where gaming is going. Everything ain't nothing but a license key, and this is all DRM.
They're just going to get more expensive. I am concerned that, yes, the prices are probably going up, and maybe even as early as July. Now, this is the Nintendo. Right now, if you're just trying to have a console experience, I do think that buying a PlayStation is still the best way to go. Now, they're doing a discount bundle right now. PlayStation has confirmed that Ghost of Yotei is going to be $70. They're not doing the $80 price.
Well, you don't think Sony's going to do the same thing? I think Sony's doing that to get in the good graces of the fans. I mean, consider that they don't really have nothing to offer. I mean, this is all they really can give you. You know, remember what Porter Rock said when PlayStation drops the price on something, that means that it's less valuable. And now all of a sudden he's out here defending low prices for the PlayStation 5. Remember he said that when Microsoft did it, it was liquidated. Y'all don't remember that? So I guess Sony's out here liquidating their consoles because ain't nobody want to pick one up. And they know that people going to play it for Grand Theft Auto 6 when that game comes out. Hey, they're like, hey, you guys want to play Grand Theft Auto 6? You can buy a PS5 for $400 right now, kids.
But already I'm seeing a lot of people saying, okay, if Sony is smart and wants good PR, they'll wait for the PlayStation 6 generation to raise prices. I think
that's exactly what they're going to do.
Conundrum right now.
That's exactly what they're going to do. And the funny thing is, they're going to do it because they already have the PS5 Pro priced around $700-800. They're not going to drop the price on that, and they're going to use that to gauge the interest of the PlayStation 6. Because you're going to look at it like, hold on, I'm paying $700-800 for a PS5 Pro when I could spend $1,000 or maybe even a little bit more for the PlayStation 6. This is what they're doing to help gauge the interest of the new next generation consoles. If all the people saying, oh, I wouldn't spend $1,000 on it. Oh, really? Aren't you guys the same dudes that bought one for a scalper for $1,000 when the PlayStation 5 launched? And now all of a sudden you don't have, now all of a sudden you have a problem buying it for $1,000 in the stores. Man, you people are out here capping.
Where they said we're forecasting 15 million Nintendo Switch 2s sold in the first 10 months. This to me sounds really, really, really like an overestimate. Now, I'm recording this on May 8th. Maybe I'll end up very, very wrong. But currently,
PlayStation fanboys talk about overestimates when you out here using Astrobot to gauge sales with how bad that game sold. Now they're out here using console bundles. I mean, bro, the funny thing is everybody that's picking up the PlayStation 5 ain't even picking it up to play Astrobot. That's why Sony's forcibly putting it within the console. And guess what? Because nobody wants to buy it. That's why they doing it. I mean, you went from a premier game to a point where Sony had to liquidate it to a game that they got to give you for free, like Astro's Playroom. That is embarrassing.
Percent do not believe in this number. This seems really, really.
Oh wow, PlayStation fanboy don't believe in these numbers, but when it's PlayStation selling 90 million sales and all this other crap, they want to believe that. The funny thing is, for some reason, PlayStation fanboys have a problem identifying between console shipped and console sold. You know, oh, we shipped 75 million. That don't mean 75 million were sold. It could even be far less than that.
To me, if these systems end up costing even $600, I just think the amount of people that are going to impulse buy it, one of the biggest advantages...
Oh, yeah, just like you impulsively bought the PS5. I'm sorry, robbed your girlfriend to get the PS5 Pro. You're probably more likely going to do the same thing. Tell your girlfriend that the PS5 Pro is a PS6, and she's going to give you $1,000 for it.
Tech. Now, obviously, when it comes to Nintendo, they're very good about squeezing every drop of juice out of it. You're not trying to have a PlayStation 5 in your pocket. It's appropriately powerful. I mean, some people are really bagging on it, saying it's weaker than a Steam Deck. It's roughly the power of a Steam Deck. It's on par with a portable PlayStation 4, which to me is still pretty good.
Oh, here we go. They still use that? A portable PS4, bro? It's more powerful than the PS4. What are you talking about, bro? Mostly when it's docked, though.
The math and says, okay, we can get away with increasing the price. I just feel like the average casual consumer is not going to be happy when you jack up these prices. I am very curious, morbidly curious.
See, the funny thing is, right, what you people don't understand is the fact that they don't care if you buy the console. This is why the console war doesn't exist. They don't care if you can't buy it, because as long as you're continuing to give them money on PS4 and PS5, that's all they care about. What do you people don't understand? Nintendo, y'all like, that don't make no sense, GameStar, because you're still living in the 90s. You're still living in the early 2000s to where you feel like, okay, I got to get the next system to get access to the new games, which is still very much true. But at the end of the day, those games those games that you're talking about are not the ones dominating the storefronts. They're games that are equivalent, or should I say, that could be accessed during with a PS4. I don't need a PS5 to play Fortnite at 60 FPS. I don't need that. I can still play Fortnite, Apex, all these games at 60 FPS on one of the most lowest demanding machines that we still have out now, which is the PS4, 2013 device. Even an Xbox One. What reason are you giving people to upgrade? Nobody cares for your games. GTA 6 will be that reason, and that is it. And that alone. Y'all know this, man. Stop the cap, bro. Nobody cares in the Switch 2 mostly for its exclusives. That's where it's gonna be at. Y'all want to sit there and continue to cap and talk about, oh, we console war. Nobody's even buying your console to play your games, bro. How is this even a console war? When I remember back in the days, oh, we had Streets of Rage, they had Final Fight. PS1 had this and Sega Saturn had that. It mostly came down to the games. I never heard people talk about, oh, we got more hardware sales than you. I've never heard that. That's just something that y'all started using now, bro. And it's absolutely pathetic, man, because if this is what y'all, if this is your way of a console war, imagine back in the days, right? If a Super Nintendo fan be like to a Sega Genesis fan, and the best games on the Super Nintendo was Sega Genesis games. Do you understand how stupid that sounds? A Sega Genesis fan would be like, but where's the Nintendo games? Oh, we don't need your games because we're playing yours. So essentially the Super Nintendo is a worse Genesis with a worse CPU then? I thought the games is what differentiated these platforms, which clearly we're starting to see time and time again. That's not the case. So when you guys go as far to say, well, we got Xbox games, the best place to play them is still on PC and Xbox. You don't get quick resume. You're not. What are you really gaining? It only matters if you have your games, which you do have a few, but a lot of your games nobody cares about. Baby steps, Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake, which is also coming. Nobody cares about your games. See, that's what y'all don't understand. Y'all call this a console war, but y'all out here playing the same games as everybody else. At least back then, a Sega Genesis fan had Streets of Rage and one had Final Fight. People was missing out on. So y'all can say, oh, you're doing that, we'll play. You're missing out on Ghost of, but nobody wants it, bro. Nobody cares for it, bro. I'm sorry, bro. Nobody wants to play. Even your own audience don't want to play these games. This is why I don't understand this whole console war crap. Because for you guys to continue this and say, well, yeah, we don't have many games like Xbox, but we're at least getting some of your games and playing your titles, even though you said they sucked for years, just shows the hypocrisy of this community, man. And also, too, to speak up on the fact that these consoles are going to be priced up much more, that has more to do with the fact that they don't want to appeal to the gamer that waits a while to get one. So it's either you get a Switch 2 or it's going to be $600 later. It's either you get the new next generation console at $1,000 or it's going to be $1,500 or whatever they're planning to do later. This is what they're doing to y'all. Microsoft, they all doing it. I'm telling you right now, they're not going to wait to drop the prices for y'all. This is what y'all don't understand. The guy that says, oh, I'm going to wait 3 years to get it. Well, guess what? 3 years is going to be more expensive. They know about y'all. Y'all don't think they know about y'all buying these games for $5 in bargain bins? Buying the Xbox One when it's $100 in comparison to when it was $500? You don't think they know that? That's why y'all complaining. Back in my days, they used to drop the prices. Now they raising them. Why you think they doing that? Y'all like Gamester. That's a good point, man. A lot of YouTubers are not talking about it because they don't even know the situation. They don't even know why this is even happening. Companies are no longer appealing to the gamer that wants to wait for discounts. That's why physical media is dying. That's why. But, you know, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, man. Like I said, man, it is what it is. These people are never going to truly understand it. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. And let me end it on a good note. Make sure you guys take one look at my profile picture. And let me play it for you real quick. Hold on. You know, us ponies, we ain't good. You know, we love our Xbox games. You know, we love the golden carrots from Xbox Farm. They produce the good. They got the best produce. You know, I'm no longer a malnutrition. I got games that I can play. I was starving for games. You know what I'm saying?